Alright, everybody, we're up for another episode of reviewing random magic cards. First up, we have this legendary land. This was originally in Time Spiral, and I love the art. It's pretty cool. I wonder if it always had the same art. Damn, that's interesting. There's looks like there's only maybe two versions of the art for a card that's been printed that many times. That's kind of surprising. But this is a legendary land. It taps for colorless, and you can tap it to make a 0/1 creature token and put it into play. So yeah, so at the very least it makes blockers, but most often it's making creatures that you will eventually pump up and attack with. Great for go. This is great for go wide strategies. Great for token strategies. Great. It's great for Aristocrat strategies too, because you're able to make creatures that you can just sack and block, that you can block with and sacrifice to your triggers, So just a very solid card. I mean, lands that make tokens are almost always good, especially if the token generation cost isn't anything insane. But because like even lands that make a 1/1 creature token for like 4 mana still see play because late game it gives you something to do your mana with. So this is no different. It's really a better rate. All right, next up we have Scourge Devil. 5 mana. When he comes into play, creatures you control get +1, and then he has Unearth. So this is just like kind of your basic Stormhound, I think is what the card's called, like type of a creature that comes into play and gives everything else a attack bonus. Now, usually those cards also have haste. This one doesn't, so he doesn't even get his own bonus, which is kind of. I mean, he does get his own bonus when you do that when you unearth him, but not the original time, which is interesting. The unearth is cool though because you basically get this ability twice, but for five. But the mana requirement is just so much. 5 mana up front and then another three. That's so much mana to invest in this. We have a mountain. It's a classic white bordered mountain. I love me white bordered lands. They're just awesome. I love this old kind of like old school painted type of artwork for land. I don't really like the what is this battle box? I don't really like beat down box. I don't really like this set symbol. I think it's just I don't know. It just feels it's too big and just feels like so ugly. I guess tacky. I don't know. Spider silk net. This is a this used to I thought this used to be worth some money, or maybe I'm thinking of something else. Because I know there's a couple of different 0 mana artifacts that used to see a lot of play because for Infinity and Metalcraft strategies, 0 cost artifacts are really useful. This one gives your creature a reach, which is it's not nothing, but most of the time you're probably only going to play this because you're playing some kind of strategy that wants to have free artifact spells to cast. Oh, dude, I love this artwork. I don't think I've ever seen this particular artwork for this card, which is funny, because Seventh Edition is one of my all-time favorite sets because I just love it. Well, for one, it's super nostalgic for me, but for two, it has so many of my favorite artworks. Like, because I think they did new artwork for every card. I think Seventh Edition, and I've almost every card. I feel like Seventh Edition has the best artwork. Like 7th edition Birds of Paradise, my favorite Birds of Paradise. 7th edition Mono War Elves, my favorite artwork for that card. Um, Raging Goblins, favorite artwork for that card. There's Goblin King, favorite artwork for that card. There's so many artworks that I think are just so good. And this is one. I think this is a great artwork. I love it. I don't know what's going on. At first, I thought this guy's head was getting cut open, but it looks like somebody's painting a circle of protection or something on his head. I'm just going to assume that's what's going on because it says kind of a circle, kind of a protection type effect. The effect itself, it's whatever. Basically, just giving your creature protection from damage, which isn't really that great because most most removal doesn't care about that unless it's like mono red removal. Oh yeah, we got this. I actually have this card in my bulk. I remember seeing it the other day. So enchantment. During your upkeep, you may look at the top card of the target opponent's library. You may put that card on the bottom of the. I mean, there's just such a overpriced, crappy ability. Like, if this card, I don't even know if this card would really see play if it costs 1 mana for this effect on an enchantment. Maybe it probably would. It probably would at 1 mana, but five, maybe 2 mana, maybe. But 5 mana, nah, nah. Banefire. So this is, one of a very, very long line of X spells that, they're all kind of copies of, what is it, Fireball or Blaze? I mean, I don't know. But, you've got cards like Fireball, Blaze, Demon Fire, and, all these X spells. And, you know, they always, a lot of times, they try to add some extra little thing on top of the already ability that it has. And so this one's extra kind of extra thing is that if the X is 5 or more, it can't be countered by spells and it can't be prevented. So this does make a great way to remove like blue creatures. It makes it's a great finisher against blue against control decks because they're not going to be able to counter it. That's really the main thing it has going for it, which is a pretty good thing to have going for yourself. All right, so 4 mana control command enemy cast a spell. Okay, so yeah, this is part of this. This is part of a newer commander cycle of spells that if your commander's out, you can cast it without paying its mana cost. So it's a free spell. So it's a free removal spell. It's a free exile spell at instant speed, which is pretty damn good. Which you can see because the cost is it's you know $20 is pretty much the $20 is the average you're gonna pay for this. Dude, why is this version? Why is this worth more than this version? This version is so much cooler looking. All right, then we have. See, this is a card from the Lord of the Rings set. It's a black halfling. That's interesting. I thought most of the halflings were in white and green. I guess there is a couple white. I guess there are some in black. Yeah, but it's a menace. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal damage to a player, create a food token. Whenever sacrifice food token for a one time. Okay, so it's basically just a food. It's a food centered card. I wonder, is there enough food support in Mono Black? Because this would be a great commander, and I'm sure it sees play in the 99 of like green black food decks. But I don't know. I don't have really any experience with it, but it seems like a pretty strong like sacrifice trigger and tokens counter strategy. Honorable patches. This is an example of old school artwork that I don't like. I do think this just looks ugly. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of this. I think the swords are cool, and like the color scheme and palette's pretty cool. But I do not like these. I don't like these human models or whatever. Prevent all damage to you or target source. Okay, so this is one of those old school color hosers. It's basically just like a holy day effect, but if the source is red, then you get to send that damage back at your opponent. So that's pretty cool. This will be the final card. Let's go ahead and finish on this hell of a guy. So really awesome artwork. It's a mercenary. I mean, back at this time, that would have been pretty relevant, and you know, Outlaws kind of brought back a little bit of Outlaws of Thunder Junction kind of gave us a little bit of support for mercenaries, and it's a shade. It's basically just a shade. Type of black. It gets +1/+1. It's a 3/3, 5 mana. It's not good. It's not good, but it's a cool card. I like it. Dang it, I keep pushing the button. So this this will be the last one. All right, this is a zombie horse. That's a hell of a creature type. Um, my boy looks awesome. He's just like all stoic, hanging out on this cliff, and he's got his giant ass spear. Is this a spear or is that a what do they call that? There's a jousting thing, right? Yeah. I don't know. Let me know. Do jousters the jousting spears? Are they just called spears, or are they called something else? He's a 3/3. You have to exile a creature from your graveyard as an additional cost, and exile him from your graveyard. Draw a card. So it's a 3/3 for one, which is really good stats. That's still extremely high curve stats, especially for a blue creature. Because usually the colors that get the over, usually the cards that get the aggressive stats cards are usually like red and green, black sometimes, especially the one drops. It's usually black and red that get the really good like 1 mana red drops side effects. This side effect isn't really that crazy. You just got to exile a creature card. It does mean that this probably never sees play on the first turn, but and then the exile effect's not bad. Mid game you draw a card, but I just don't really see where this really. I don't see like why you would want to really play this because blue's not an aggressive strategy. Like if this was a black card or a red card, I'm sure it would have saw some more level of play, like some, you know. But all right, guys, that's all I got for this video.